Hey everyone, I'm back. So tonight we are making a crispy peanut tofu stir fry with a cauliflower rice. We love stir fry in this house. It's super versatile. You can change it up, do whatever veggies your family likes, and you can use regular rice, you can use noodles, you can use cauliflower rice. It's so interchangeable. You can change up your proteins. So tonight we're doing tofu. So first we're going to press our tofu and get it kind of like dried out a little bit so it's not mushy when we cook it. So I have 2 bricks of 10-ounce super firm tofu, and I'm just going to slice it in half so it's thinner. And then I've got a kitchen towel folded in quarters and then a tea towel on top of it. Just going to place the 2 halves there and then fold that over. Place another tea towel on top of that. And then I'm going to slice the same way on this one. Open this up, put it down, fold it over, put another towel on top, put it on my cutting board, and then put my skillet right on top. And we're going to let this press for at least a half an hour. If you have more time, go ahead and let it press longer. It'll just mean that more liquid comes out. And then I'll be back to show you the rest of the stir fry. Okay, so while my tofu is pressing, I'm going to make my cauliflower rice. I have my oven preheated to 425. I'm ricing my own cauliflower. You can absolutely buy the pre-done stuff in the bag, but if you are trying to save money, it is definitely cheaper to buy a head of cauliflower and just throw it into a food processor and do it yourself. So I do 2 batches usually. I use 1 large head of cauliflower, so I do 2 batches. I break up the little florets. What?
We're watching in practical.
Okay. I break up the florets and throw them in there, and then I just do a second round. Then I'm just going to put it on a sheet pan with some parchment paper and spray it with a little olive oil, season it with a little salt, and put it in the oven until it starts to get a little brown. I'll stir it once or twice throughout. It'll probably take about 15 to 20 minutes or so at 425. And then I'm just going to set it aside because it's going to get warmed through again once our stir fry is pretty much all put together. We're going to throw it in the pan with the rest of the veggies. So we're just going to spread this out and then spray it with a little olive oil, and it should be good to go. And it will shrink up a little bit, so if it's kind of like piled, it most likely will be. It's fine. Just make sure that when you're stirring it, you're moving it around enough. So I just use my little olive oil sprayer. Some salt, and then pop it in the oven. Alright, cauliflower rice is in the oven. Tofu is just about done being pressed. When the cauliflower rice is done, I'll swap it out and put the tofu in. So, but while I'm waiting, I'm going to make the sauce that the tofu is going to marinate in for a little while once it's done in the oven. So what I'm going to do, I don't really measure. I'm going to estimate. I have my sesame oil. So I'm going to put about 1/4 cup into a bowl, and then I am going to put about 1/4, actually that was probably like 1/8 cup. Then I'm going to put 1/4 cup of soy sauce. If you're gluten free, make sure that you use the gluten free stuff. There we go. And it always takes forever to come out, especially when it's brand new. So we're going to do 1/4 cup of this. Hopefully. And then you can use either honey or brown sugar to sweeten it a little bit. I'm going to use honey. I don't like the processed brown sugar, but you can use any sweetener really. You could use maple syrup, you could use coconut sugar, you could use agave. I mean, really any sweetener that you like and that your family likes, feel free to use. But I'm going to use honey. And okay, so this is a peanut sauce, and I am just going to use Jif, because the boys don't like when I use almond butter in the peanut sauces or like natural peanut butter. So I'm gonna add less of the honey than I normally would if I was using an unsweetened nut butter. But since there's sugar in Jif, a lot of it, I'm gonna probably only add about 1/8 of a cup of this instead of 1/4 of a cup of this. So just take that into consideration too. If you're using an unsweetened nut butter, then definitely go ahead and add the full 1/4 cup of your sweetener. But if your children are picky like mine when it comes to this kind of stuff, play it safe. All right, so now I'm gonna add some roasted red chili paste, probably just like 1/2 teaspoon. You can use like red chili garlic sauce, whatever you have. This is what I had, so that's what I'm using. And then I'm just gonna throw in some garlic, probably about 1 teaspoon. And then I'll rinse this off real quick. And then I'm gonna throw in my peanut butter. So it's about 2.5 tablespoons of peanut butter. Again, I just estimate, so that's probably 1.5 and then 2. So I'm gonna stir that up and then set it aside. So once the tofu is done in the oven, then I'm just gonna coat it in there and let that marinate while I'm cooking my veggies. Okay, my cauliflower rice is done. I have my tofu cut up into little cubes. I put it on a sheet pan with foil because I ran out of parchment paper when I was doing the cauliflower rice. So to prevent it from sticking, I just sprayed the foil with nonstick cooking spray. So in a pinch, do that. Parchment paper is ideal though, if you have it. So I'm just gonna pop that in the oven for about 15 minutes. And while that's going, I'm gonna start getting the rest of the stir fry stuff together. And we're gonna get that into a pan. I'll be back. Right, so I've chopped up some veggies. You can really use any veggies you guys want, whatever your family likes. Tonight I did 1 red pepper, 3 baby bok choy, and 1 bunch of green onions. I don't need a ton of veggies since we are using cauliflower rice. If I was using regular rice or noodles or something, I'd probably use more veggies than this. But since it's cauliflower rice, I don't need to. We're getting our veggies that way. So I just have my pan heating here over medium heat with a little drizzle of olive oil in there. I'm just gonna throw these veggies in and saute them just for a few minutes. I still want them kind of like crisp and tender. I'm also just gonna add like a dash of soy sauce in here with these, just for a little seasoning. And I'll probably cook them about 5 minutes. Again, I don't want them to be super soft because it's a stir fry. So once these are done, I'm gonna take them out of the pan and just set them in a bowl because I'm going to need my pan for my tofu once it's done in the oven. So it's kind of getting cooked twice. Crisp it up in the oven, marinate it for a little bit to soak in some of that flavor, and then crisp it up again in the pan. So these will cook about 5 minutes, then I'll be back to show you the tofu after it's marinated, after it's been done in the oven. Alright, tofu is done marinating in the bowl. I've got about a tablespoon of sesame oil heated up in my pan. I'm going to add just like a little bit of garlic, probably about a teaspoon. Let that cook for just a smidge. And then I'm going to toss my tofu in here with a couple of spoonfuls of the sauce. And I'm going to cook that just until it's like crispy. The rest of the sauce we're going to save because we're going to use that to drizzle over our completed dish. So once the tofu is done, I'm going to throw my veggies back in here just to warm them through. You can throw your cauliflower rice in there too if you want, or you can put that like in your serving dish and then put the other stuff on top. Completely up to you how you want to do it. So this is good. We're going to scoop this in and just cook them until they're crispy. Again, reserving the rest of the sauce after we throw a couple of spoonfuls in. Some of it's actually going in with the tofu since I'm just scooping it out of here. And that peanut smell is really coming through. It smells super, super good. All right, tofu is done. Added my veggies back in to warm them through. If you want to put your cauliflower rice in, you can go ahead and do that too. Otherwise, you can just put it in the bottom of your serving bowl and then put this stuff on top. Garnish with your sauce, some chopped up peanuts if you want, and some reserved green onions, and you guys are all set. So don't forget to click that subscribe button below, and also click that little bell icon so you guys can get notifications whenever I post a new video. A couple times a week I'll be posting these whenever I'm making a new recipe that I haven't recorded yet. And if you want any of these recipes so you can try them out yourself, the link to my blog is in the description of all the videos, so you can click that and head over to my blog, and all the recipes are listed there for you guys. So, thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys back tomorrow.